President. Mr. President, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much. Thank you, fellas.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
This is awesome. We have a bunch of questions. We're very, very grateful for your time.
That's
and
good.
Okay, so here's first question.
Great.
You have these children that are seemingly well-adjusted, successful, and I think most importantly, they appear to like you.
Yeah.
Okay,
They better.
I grew up in the city, and there's a lot of people who had like very wealthy parents, and like the kids kind of resent them. They're almost like waiting for them to like die, and they end up in like rehabs,
Doing
and
drugs, God knows what, yeah.
How do you raise them in the public eye where they, still become ambitious and successful?
So I do have good kids and 5 really wonderful children. And different, very different. Yeah, they are so different. But, one thing that was in common that I did, I always used to say when I was with them or when they were leaving a room, I would drive them crazy. No drugs, no alcohol, no cigarettes. I would say that.
Did you say that to Don Jr.?
Yeah, Don's a little wild. He's a wild. He can be a little tough.
He told me a funny story.
Go ahead.
Okay. I talked to a bunch of people. I was trying to, prepare for this interview.
Right.
He told me a funny story. And he said to me, he goes, once he asked if he could have a couple of his friends over for New Year's. Was it New Year? No, it was July 4th.
Right.
On top of Trump Tower.
Right.
And you said yes. He's like, I want 5 friends. You're like, okay, I'm out of town. Go for it. He brings 200 people over to Trump Tower. Okay?
That's right.
Okay. He says that you weren't supposed to be there. You end up showing up. You hear some noise upstairs. You come up. You go, what the fuck is everybody doing here? Get the hell out of my house. He said he cleaned for the next 36 hours. And he said, to this day, you have never brought up that it even happened. And he said, I'm starting to believe it might not have happened. Yeah. So can you give him closure?
No, it happened. No, I can never give closure. You can never forget. A lot of people like to forget things. You can't know. He's a good guy. And, he's taken a lot because he was always a good student. He went to the Wharton School of Finance, which is great, and he did well. But he went into the world of politics not because he wanted to, but because I was there, and I sort of automatically you drag the family in. Mm-hmm. And this guy, what he had to go through with Russia. He goes, Dad, they're asking me questions about Russia. I don't know anything about Russia. What's going on? And all of a sudden, he's in front of grand juries. He's in front of Congress. It was a hoax. It was a total hoax. Yeah. This was a made-up hoax by crazy Nancy Pelosi and these, the maniacs. Yeah. Hillary Clinton, who's totally nuts. Yeah. And this went on for 2 years. And he'd always say, Dad, I know nothing about this stuff. And he'd go before the grand jury. And, Comey, you have Comey, who's the worst, just a bad guy. But he went through a lot, and it actually made him tougher. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's good or bad, but he's a tough cookie, that one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And in his case, it made him tougher. Ivanka did a great job. She didn't want anything. All she wanted to do was get people jobs. I would have made her the ambassador to the UN. I wanted to do that. I think she would have been incredible, the whole aura. She would have been great, but she didn't want that. She didn't, and that would have been a very glamorous position. Yeah. She would have been great there. All she did is go to see companies and hire people. She wanted, and she hired, I think it was like 10 million people, some incredible amount of people. She'd go to Walmart, she'd go to Exxon, she'd go to these big companies and see if she could get groups of people hired. Yeah. And she loved doing it. It was great. And there was no glamour, there was no anything, but she got people jobs that made her.
So how do you instill the ambition in the kids? I think a lot of kids that grow up with wealth, they kind of are lazy and they feel like they have no direction in life. And a lot of times they turn to like drugs and other shit. How do you instill the ambition?
Well, I've seen a lot of wealthy families where the kids mostly don't work out too well. Some don't turn out to be bad kids, but they end up hating the father, or the father maybe wanted them in business. I mean, I have one father that's very competitive with his son. If the son were more successful than him,
he would hate it.
He would be unhappy. I said, are you crazy? It's supposed to be the other way around.
That's awesome.
My father was so proud of me. He was a successful guy. But my father wanted me to be more successful. I mean, he was so proud of all the things. I wish he could have seen what happened because we did things. But he was, he's just a proud father.
What do you think he's most proud
And I
of you?
think
Yeah.
most fathers are that way. I hope that. But I've known many fathers that are very successful that didn't want that broke up over their son's success. If, in the few cases where the son was more successful, which was very seldom, actually.
Yeah.
It's very seldom. Almost. I can't think of any. They never supersede the father in terms of success. And in sports generally, baseball, you can go to a lot of different sports. And it really is a sort of a microcosm of life. But with life, it takes a lot longer to find out the end
Come to
result.
fruition.
I'm sorry
Yes.
to interrupt you, but we said you're a great father up top. First thing you say is, I've got great kids. You didn't take credit. And then your entire answer, and I thought this was really cool, your entire answer is about how great your kids are. That was a very cool thing.
Thank you. That's
Yeah.
very nice. I think I like this interview. I think